And we are now live on our side-by-side channel. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. Thank
Hey,
you for
good
having me.
morning. Oh, you're
Oh,
very
good morning. Is
welcome.
it morning somewhere? It's probably morning somewhere.
So I am really excited about starting our Ask Lisa's Wednesday sessions. And this Wednesday will be an introduction about you. And I'll actually leave it to you. I want you to start by your favorite part of your resume. What is your most favorite line in this very, very rich resume?
I don't think it's on there. I'm a coach. I love coaching. I love teaching. So I guess that technically is one of the things I do as the role of the referee is
Mhm.
I do a lot of teaching. That's like my foundation is enjoying teaching about the sport I love. So I don't think it's on there. Let me look.
Well, it is in your name, so you have it like everywhere, like at Coach
Oh,
Lisa, and right
that's
now
right.
your
At
name is
Coach
Coach
Lisa.
Lisa. So it
Yeah.
seems, yes, definitely, as it
Okay.
is your
Good.
favorite part.
Okay.
But we we cannot definitely ignore that you're one of the only 11 referees in the world as a female FIE rated referee in all three weapons.
Yes. Several of those are
How
from the States, actually. It's kind of
Yeah.
cool.
How what was the process of that, and what was the difficulty you faced? How was it easy? Was it difficult? What was the journey like?
Um, well, I think the take home I have of all of that is that the FIE has been improving the system. When I first tested for my FIE B in EPE, they didn't really have good videos on how to test us. The testing system is really it's I have to say it's kind of like psychological warfare. They make it stressful
Mhm.
on purpose so they can see who can do it. And I kind of respect that because I did my homework. I figured out who were going to be my testers, especially for the second time round when I was doing my foil and my saber. Is I wanted to know who was going to be there so that I would understand what they were looking for. And now the FIE does some really good things with. Used to be you just refereed a video,
Mhm.
and the video doesn't have sound.
Mhm.
You can see it once or twice. They want you to referee it on the first call, first time, and then but there's no sound to it. There's no feedback from the athletes. And what they did, and I don't know when they started this. I was at Junior Pan Am's in Havana,
Mhm.
Cuba. Let's see, what year was that? Uh, my thing says 2017. That sounds right. Um, and they have referees referee real people, which I think is a
Mhm.
huge improvement.
Mhm.
And seeing that they can handle the stress of that situation. And in fact, when I was at that, I had people tapping on my shoulder because I just cut my hair super short. This is COVID hair. You know, I'm growing it out a little bit. I don't know if it's going to stay, but they tapped me on the shoulder because a lot of my videos were with my long hair. Are you Lisa? And I'm like, yes. They're like, we used your videos to prepare for this. And I'm like,
Oh.
oh, I hope they're good. I just, I'm like, oh, I hope they're good. Please let them be good. Uh,
Ah.
I kind of counted this a little touch of arrogance here. I counted 12
Mhm.
FIE referees have asked me questions or I have helped study. And that's a lot now that they've all become FIEBs because not because of me, because of their own value,
Mhm.
absolutely. But
Mhm.
it's kind of nice to kind of have that in my pocket, like,
Yeah.
ooh,
What
I
encouraged you to create that fencing referee, the online videos and your channel? Because I know it's not just a channel, so we can tell everybody you already have 3 books and you have
yes,
the referee channel. You're a certified referee instructor. So what, beside the love of you teaching, what
yes.
encouraged you to create the channel?
Well, to be honest, this is something a lot of people are going to relate to is that there are sometimes internal politics that you have no you have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately or fortunately, I've been involved in fencing for a very, very long time. So I think there were a bunch of people who still thought I was 15 years old when I was 35 years old. And I see you smiling, so you might also
I know.
relate to that.
That's not a
You know,
bad
I think a
thing,
lot of us,
right?
yeah, if you start young on a national level, and I think that was part of the problem, is that I wasn't being seen as an adult. I was being seen as that, oh, it's Lisa, you know, pinch your cheeks kind of thing. And I was told I wasn't good enough to teach.
Mhm.
So I decided, if I can't teach, let's go global. Why
Mhm.
not go on the internet? Because guess what? They can't stop me. And so that
Yeah.
was really, I also found that when I was helping younger referees, I was mentoring and discussing the same things over and over again in a very positive way, like not standing
Mhm.
too close to the strip. You know, that's
Mhm.
the simplest
Mhm.
one. Every
Mhm.
new referee stands too close. But I found myself kind of saying the same kind of things every single time. And I went, you know, this is content. This is not just something that I should be saying individually to one referee. It's
Mhm.
something that a new referee, every new referee should know some of these things. And then I realized some of my content was really solid for not just new referees.
Was it
So, you know,
something that you learned during your experience being a domestic referee for 30 years? Is it something
yes,
you grasped and you wanted to share
absolutely.
with everybody else?
It just, yeah, absolutely. It was just value add. I realized that when you're saying the same things to people and you're mentoring and you're shaping them, that if you're saying the same things and they're adding such value to people, that yeah, it should be something that we should have out there as content. And the referee clinic that USA Fencing has, it's a lot of content and it's a lot of incredibly valuable content, but there's these little nuances that that a new referee needs, that is beyond the curriculum of the CRI, what I as a CRI teach.
Mhm.
And a lot of experienced referees they really resonate with the difficulties, for example, with FA refereeing. It's
Mhm.
that you know, there's so many details, and a lot of people get overwhelmed by the details.
Mhm.
And it's staying calm while you're, at least on the outside,
Mhm.
when you're refereeing. And yeah, the content came out of a need. I felt a big need to educate people on, when you're out there,
Mhm.
what are you thinking? How are you thinking? And how can you stay calm in the face of a coach yelling at you, for example?
Mhm. And I think also it has to come out of generosity, Lisa. Like not everybody, some people know the information, but the knowledge on its own is not enough. It has to come with the the kindness and the generosity of you wanting to share the information and making everybody. It comes with the confidence as well. Like you're confident enough, if you share the information, it will make everybody better as well as you, not just, oh, it's my information, you know, I'm not going to share it with everybody. Like you just said, watch me go global and welcome to the club, you know. So it's something that we're doing to benefit everybody else in the whole world, is just sharing our information. And something that I was told refereeing one of my first bouts in the US as a national referee, and because I wasn't known, I'm just a young lady who shows up to the room, and then she's refereeing one of the tough bouts, and with names I didn't know. Like I didn't know the people X and Y who were fencing. And then I just, you know, I was like, this is the rules, I'll apply it. And I wasn't very flexible, like with, oh, this is the popular famous name, I should be flexible with him. And then after my coach came and tapped me on my shoulder, Alexei Sinchitov, and he's like, oh, good job, you did well. And the other two coaches, guess what? Both coaches were fighting with me, and they were like, they were like, "Oh, so you weren't born yesterday?" I was like, "Guess not." So it's something like that. It's one thing to prove that you are right in your position and you present well to everybody else, and again, your inside generosity, Lisa, that you want to share your information with everybody. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you. I mean, I think it also comes from when I was at South Centelli, New Jersey. Was my first club that I ever fenced at. My coach wanted us to fence other places. He wanted us to go out and experience other places and other fencers and everything. So I think the culture was steeped in me from the beginning, because that's how we all get better. And in fact,
Mhm.
I haven't watched my first videos in a while, but that was really kind of the big overseeing concept was, if I make even a local person better, that expands all of us. It makes us all better.
It's definitely not a smooth ride, and it doesn't come easy. It will take time for someone to acknowledge your information and knowledge, and because it's more difficult for people who are not really solid with their information to be confident to share their weakness. I think it's needs strength, that okay, I need help. This needs a lot of strength for
Right.
someone to come out and say, I want to learn. And I appreciate you for also doing that, because in one session you're an instructor, and in another session you're a student in one of our rules
Yeah.
our rules session, because that is great confidence, that you're just sitting down in the student chair one day, and the next day you're the instructor yourself. That needs a lot of courage. Thank you for that.
I think it's interesting to me. I started doing something. There's something in the States called fly fishing. It's I'm very good at catching trees behind me and rocks in front of me, but I like being a beginner at something because I never want to forget that feeling, because I think a lot of people, they do get set in their ways because they forget what it felt like to be new. And so I always am trying to do things that are keeping my brain expanding. So I'm like, oh, I guess I should take up that thing in art that I wasn't really good at, that I want to get better at. Because now when an athlete gets frustrated or a new referee gets frustrated, I can remember what it feels like to be new at something. If we're not keep learning, we're not evolving, we're not continuing. And in fact, when I first started reffing epee in particular, the things that are most important in epee, like the passing, the remising, the concepts, I was worst at as a foil referee. And I'm like going, but they still think I'm doing a good job. I think it was just because I was decisive, but I felt so scared when I was first reffing epee, of all things, because the things that I felt the weakest at, and I had some tremendous mentors who, whenever you hear me explain like a passing action, if maybe we'll do epee, just you and me on side by side, but passing actions, there have been some extraordinary people who've really, they've phrased a way to have you figure it out. And that's the biggest thing with any rule, is that once you figure out how it resonates in your brain, then anytime a coach says, no, you're only allowed one remise after the pass, and I'm like, actually the rule says action, and she can do 12 so long as she starts before the reason for the halt.
Exactly.
And like, and then you can put it in your, nobody needs to speak Lisa. Everybody needs to speak their own language, so that when somebody questions them, and I'm sorry, if you're going to referee, it's not an if somebody questions, it's when
will
questions you have to have words that make sense to your brain, so you can keep your calm, and so you can articulate, just like Ali was saying, I know the rules, go away now.
Yeah,
we have to say
and it feels like I kind of want to move a question around here with the fencing. Your fencing impact, it changed you as a character. It affected you on how you present yourself, like being a referee, being a coach, being a part of a community, that you are powerful in a way, powerful on how steady and knowledgeable you are. So how did the fencing really impacted you in that?
I feel like fencing is about, I feel it's very transformative at a level. I used to do corporate fitness as one of my lives, and I would be asked in a job interview, how do you feel about applying the rules? And I would try not to laugh and say, I think I'm good with the rules. If I can tell a 6'8" man to go back on that line right there, I think I'm good with telling the CEO of the company that he can't exercise in the facility until he has his doctor look him over. Like, these are
with a pretty
rules,
smile, right? Like
yeah, exactly. With a pleasant smile, as I tell this person that intimidates everybody, you're not intimidating me. But I feel like fencing is very transformative and very helpful to make people be able to find who they truly are. It is, I've seen it be transformative from a referee perspective. Just recently, this fencer of mine will tell you that I made him referee, and it has helped him with his confidence as a coach, his confidence as an athlete. And so that's really, I didn't know when my big sister saw a cute guy at the sign-up table that this was where I would end up. That was my sister, who is a bit of an icon in the States. She was vice president of the fencing association for the USA Fencing, but I got my A. So, you know, it's all about balancing it out. But yeah, when she started fencing and then I picked it up, she told me, do it because you want to do it, not because I do it. And that was very much our family thing, was do your best, work hard, and you'll find your spot. And I found my spot, I guess.
I think I have a line that I used to use in one of those schools and the recruiting for the new students, is that it builds you as who you are character wise, even if you're working at the corporate office in the morning, even if you're a husband or a wife, even if you're just working in any position anywhere in life, if you're a fencer, they will come and ask you, wow, you're doing it differently, why? And your answer will be, because I'm a fencer, because I'm a perfectionist, I want to do it the right way, I follow rules. So it is very, it's my passion, so I can keep going on it.
You know, but it also opens people to taking risks. I've had many meek freshmen, both male and female, come in to the high school setting. And I always like it when my athletic director is at that banquet where the seniors say, it's because of fencing that I'm going to forge my path in the world. And that's why a lot of us keep doing it.
What a very nice statement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So
they blame me a little bit too, but I blame them. I always blame my athletes. It's always their fault. It's never me, because they didn't have to listen. They didn't have to take my advice. They didn't have to do that beat disengage. By the way, that was my favorite action. But anyway, but yeah.
Is it a risk to take the responsibilities that you have in your resume here, being a part of the referee development committee, being on the fencing referee commissions, and all your roles? Do you feel it's a risk of responsibilities?
I don't know if it's a risk. In some way, I feel like every person can find that teacher that will make their brain understand how to move forward. And I want to be that teacher. So in some ways that's a responsibility, but yeah, I think it's a risk. I am naive about a lot of things. Sometimes when I get treated poorly at a fencing tournament because I'm a woman, I don't realize it. And I kind of like it that way. I don't realize it until 2 hours later. I'm like, oh, that's why somebody didn't treat me properly. But we're changing that right now. So many women referees are doing such a good job. And they're not doing a good job because they're women. They're doing a good job because they are kick butt awesome referees. So we're changing some minds out there. I like that. I like that we're forging that.
And it's definitely, I always say also, because we're human beings, that having titles on our forehead, being a lady, being African, being Arabic, being whatever, I have many names or titles that can be put on my forehead, but whatever names that there are, it's a human being dealing with another human being. This is a responsibility. This is an action that we need to be up to and be able to stand for ourselves. So like you said, it feels like me and you are on the same path. We're just not taking it personally. If someone is looking at us as a female figure, that's their problem, not ours. We're just still a human being doing our job, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And one thing I try to impart to referees is a little bit controversial, is that I try to get referees to never forget what it was like to be out there on the strip. Because I think we've all been refereed by people who want to hear their voice. You know, they want to, you know, they're there for them, you know. And I very much referee for the athletes, because as a foil girl in particular, I hated having a bad referee. And I always want to be that referee I would have wanted. Some new referees, somebody asks a question and they're asking it because they're so excited. And you're like, don't forget, you were once that person. So I always try to open the space for an athlete who's asking me a question. Sometimes you have to come down on them, like, let's approach this a little more respectfully. Take a breath, ask your question. Not all referees do that. Some referees shut everybody down, but I always want to remember what it was like to be that athlete who was concerned about a call, or who wanted to ask a question, or who wanted to learn about my priority of how I see it, because we all do have nuances with how we see priority. And a lot of people have told me that surprises them, that there are referees who shut everybody down. And I want to be somebody who mentors and shapes referees who are willing to listen or discuss after about, because that's how we all learn and get better.
And
It's
that was
scary,
going to
though.
be
It
my
is scary.
next question for you, Lisa. Is it because you feel it's your responsibility in all your positions that you're taking right now as members of committees to be helpful, or is it because Lisa wants to be helpful and then she approached and to being part of these committees and commissions as well as part of the community?
Well, I'll talk about myself in third person. Lisa is the daughter of a nurse and an engineer. So
Okay.
Lisa comes by troubleshooting, honestly, like it's hardwired into my genetics to fix things, you know, whether they're human beings with your boo-boos, you know, you have a little hurt, I will fix that. Or if it's how do I do something better? So when you're the daughter of an engineer and the daughter of a nurse, I think it's more of a hardwired into me, because I don't think I would do it any differently if I weren't on those committees, if that makes any sense.
Yes, absolutely. How do you want it to make it better?
How do I want to make it better? She warned me about this question.
I did.
Well, I think one of the things that is really good is that it feels like how we create referees in the States is they take a seminar, they take an online test, and then they get observed. And I think that is a really good template that other places, the certified referee seminar that people take, it really is what a lot of people call boilerplate. You know, it's foundations. It is not perfect in any way, shape, or form, but it is really information that every single referee needs to know. And so in an ideal world, we need to make sure that we have people having access to that boilerplate information. Also, in an ideal world, we're doing as a society, and I could say that as an international society, we're making people not want to referee anymore. And I call us a self-selecting population. So something inside you, or perhaps your coach is telling you to do that. I've never forced my athletes to referee, but that's okay. Something is telling you to referee. And we're a self-selecting population, but we really need to be putting data possibly behind it of why people leave. If people are leaving, if they're a certain demographic or they're a certain age, you know, we shouldn't be pushing people out because something told them that they wanted to referee.
Is there a study that is being put together on the new referees who are added and the referees who are leaving? Is there someone keeping data somewhere?
I don't think there is. We have a new head official, a new person who's in charge of the RC, and that's actually her wheelhouse. So
and
that
who
would
is
be cool. Tasha.
Congratulations, Tasha.
Tasha Poisson. I want to say her maiden name, but I've known her for years. But she is super smart. So I wonder if she's going to be one of those people that's going to maybe look into that. I don't know. I haven't talked to her about it. But I know that we don't have data on why people leave. On a national level, we're trying to create some, for the US, we're trying to create some equity with how people get paid, for lack of a better way to put it. They're called honorariums and they can't be past a certain amount, blah, blah, blah. Where I was working with some local people in New Jersey, and we realized that the level 6 referee was working sometimes as long as the level 2 referee. So we kind of got their pay rate to be closer, because if both people are leaving at 7 o'clock at night, maybe they should be closer in pay. And so I really wanted the work to be what it was. We also have a system where you get observed in refereeing certain bouts, and that's how your rating gets increased. And we had extraordinarily solid referees in people who were elite athletes themselves, but they would often be fencing in the events where they could get those ratings up. And so we have some glitches in our system. I'll name drop. Monica Aksamet and Kamali Thompson are both extraordinarily solid referees. But I think for a while we couldn't get them their FIEs because they were always fencing, and they're really solid referees. And I always get a kick out of a woman refereeing and then the guys knowing that they're sitting in on guard, that those two women could beat me. You know what I mean? I love that. I love that. You know.
Yeah.
I like it.
And
I like the strong women thing.
so let me ask you this: do we have a list of observers, or who becomes an observer, or how do they become an observer?
Honestly, sometimes people say, I want to be an observer. I'm in an underserved area.
Mm-hmm.
Other times we go, wow, you're really, really good, and you're really good at seeing things. So yes, I'm going to make you an observer. not I'm going to make you an observer, but sometimes people, we seek them out as a committee. The CROs, they're CRIs, which are the certified referee instructors.
Mm-hmm.
There's a list online on usafencing.org. They recently, I want to call it recently, it's probably been almost a year now, but they recently redid their web design, and referees have got their own spot. You'll see the process of becoming a referee, and please click on the study guide. I redesigned the study guide. It took about a year. It was a long project, and it helps you with the online exam. And also there's a list of the CROs, to answer your question fully. There's a list of the certified referee observers. Right now, we don't have tournaments, so we're not really doing observations because we don't have tournaments. And we want to make sure that people are getting the hands-on experience of refereeing. We have a rating system that goes from 10 to 1.
But what we can do online is actually the part where they can attend the seminars online, because there is no much tournament, and the seminars is being difficult. So
within the first couple months of the pandemic, the Referee Development Committee gave us some guidelines. One of the great guidelines was take a break after an hour and a half. You know, So I do a referee seminar. Recently, I did one for 4 weeks in a row, kind of like a college course on Thursday nights. Wow. And I might be doing something with side by side, possibly.
Yeah.
You know,
that's like a semi-announcement that we're doing something in maybe 14 days exactly.
Probably. But I did it in 2-hour segments, and the referee seminar is about 8 hours of curriculum. That on a day where we do 8 hours start to finish, it's 7 hours. It's 8 hours of curriculum fit into 7 hours. So I talk really fast sometimes. That's probably not shocking to people watching right now. The referee seminar is, you can find those, at least for me, I've got another one this weekend on October 3rd on Ask Fred. And it was a fantastic innovation based on the pandemic, because we had been asking the question technology-wise, why aren't we doing the seminar online? And now that we have formats like Zoom, this Thursday night one that I did, I had a father and son do the seminar. And I tell my people in our little Zoom, I have to be able to see you. And his dad, I was like, so is your dad still here? And his dad would like pop his head into the window. And I was like, all right, his dad's still listening. But, you know, so we want to be able to see the people, and Zoom allows us to be able to see the people are paying attention. We use the chat. I actually have some of my things that I use in my seminar right here. So this means, yes, I really understand. This means I need more, really need more. And this is bleep, meaning a bad word. I don't say bad words in my seminars. I need more, like help me. So I even try to get, you know, part of our culture with our yellow, red, black as part of the seminar, because when I teach the seminar in person, I want it to be interactive, because I want to, sometimes people are very visual, sometimes people are verbal, sometimes people need to see something again and again, or in a different manner, or with different words. And that's the only limitation of Zoom right now, is that we don't have that interaction. But since the start of the pandemic, I'm probably approaching 150 people have taken my seminar. I'm probably approaching that number.
And I am emphasizing again, because I've been asked that question so many times. These seminars are the official seminars that consists of third of the criteria for you to become a U.S. fencing national referee, correct?
Correct.
And the other two is the online, and as well as being observed. So these are all the 3 criteria. I'm just highlighting them again, because trust me, I've been asked so many times. So we need to repeat them. We've got 3 parts to become a U.S. fencing referee. It's attending the seminar, like the ones we're going to be working with Lisa on, and they're official and they're accredited from the U.S. Fencing Referee Committee, as well as attend the online exam and pass all your questions on the online exams. And there is definitely a new guideline on the website, as well as being observed in the tournament. And that would be our third and last point for being a referee in the USA Fencing Association.
In the study guide, it actually has like a flow chart of the steps to go there, because I'm a very visual thinker myself. And if you read the steps just as like little bullet points, it gets very confusing. So when you download the study guide, you will see that there's step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, go. Because it is, it's important to be able to visualize what is the path you need to take.
And it feels like we're in a hybrid state right now, where some is online and some is physical, where I know you started coaching back at your club, and at the same time there is some bouting happening, and then there is some regional tournaments that is trying to put together.
We're not doing any bouting. We're only doing individual lessons right now.
Okay.
That's because that's what our venue wants us to, and that's what we feel is appropriate right now. I don't know when normal comes back.
Yep. And it's definitely not normal yet. We're still in a pandemic phase, and this is very acceptable to take it very gradual and slow. I believe in that as well. So I haven't even gotten back to doing my regular classes. I'm just preferring online and the hybrid state where when tournaments approach, people are ready, but they're physically ready, they're cardio ready, they're mentally ready, they're nutritionally ready. There's so many parts and section that we want to prepare them so that when they're back on the strip, they are prepared. And definitely for people who want to, who are interested in becoming referees, we can put together.
Not just referees, but that's my book right there.
Ooh.
And my book is about fencing and tournaments.
Lisa, be fancy enough. How many books do you have? Come on, how many books have you written?
Well, there are 3 different books on scouting. I realized that I was working with my high school team and we were doing a lot of scouting. You watch for trends. Sometimes schools, just like fencing clubs, have got certain trends. And I realized, wow, I used to do this as an athlete and there's nothing really that's out there. So yeah, I'm a full fencing nerd. Like I am the whole thing. And when I was a competitor, I would take notes on people. And I realized that there wasn't anything else out there. And so so I created one for foil, one for epee, and one for saber, because they've each got different philosophies. So for example, in epee, the epee one's got more details on preparations, because preparations are probably, I would say, more important than in the other 2 weapons, because, you know, in saber and in foil, I smack the blade, I have priority. That's different. We have different purposes for preparations. And I'm a 3-weapon coach. I am a dinosaur in our USA fencing classifications. I've been an ABC. I actually didn't tell you that. I was an A in epee, a B in foil, and a C in saber.
Oh wow!
So yeah, there's nobody. No, I'm a dinosaur. I'm older than I look, luckily. So I actually fenced when there was no epee for women. There used to be no epee for women.
Wow.
And so I was in the NCAA as a foil fencer because I had no choice.
It definitely doesn't show, Lisa. So
that's right. I would like to say fencing keeps me young, but when my athletes counterattack, when they don't have priority, that makes me old. So, you know, there's a balance. I blame them for whatever gray hairs I have. They're giving them all to me.
And the 4th book would be Fencing for Dummies. Do we still have that in our cover?
No. The next book that I want to do actually is probably just scouting, because in the back of this book, if anybody remembers what an address book used to look like, your mom and dad probably have them, you know. I realized that I probably didn't give enough space for all the competitors that people are using. So I'm going to do a just scouting book. But actually, I wish I had gotten on this sooner. I want to do a wellness book. My background is exercise physiology. I have a master's degree. So you're absolutely right. Keeping the person healthy mentally, physically, making sure the cardio. And a weird example is we do lessons, but we have them use the PPE masks underneath their masks, because we really have that as an expectation. that, first of all, that's for the safety of everybody. But second of all, I don't anticipate that we will be able to be competing without PPE, without a protective mask. And it's a disservice to our athletes if we're not preparing them for that eventuality.
Yeah. And it's something that we're looking for the future for. I think the whole world doesn't know what's tomorrow bringing to us. So we're just doing our best to prepare for today and praying for tomorrow as a better tomorrow. And we're going to be sharing, everybody, I just want to share with all the side-by-side community, we'll be sharing the website for the exam. We'll be sharing the dates for the coming up seminar by Lisa Campi-Sapery, as well as the Amazon links for the books if anybody is interested to read what we have to tell them for all three weapons. They will find the link in our shared video. Lisa, I cannot thank you enough, and I'm definitely want to know more and say more. So we're looking forward for next week.
Well, thank you so much. And if you guys want to start collecting your questions so that you can put me on the spot, because next week we're going to be doing a special one. I believe, I think new referees, the common errors of new referees is next week. And ask me questions, because I love keeping my brain active, and that's very, very helpful.
So definitely we're encouraging everybody to reach out to us. And Lisa, for the questions for next week's session, how to prepare a new referee and how to put all the information together and how to make it better. Thank you, Lisa, so much. And thank you everybody for joining and watching, and see you next week.